I also want to bring to the focus, remember, with the lack of clarity about what's unfolding in Iran. We know what Khamenei is thinking. What are the people of Iran thinking? Is there a certain dissent against Khamenei regime? Is there a support for Iranian regime surrender? Joining me now is Arash Hamidian. He's a member of the Iranian opposition and has been advocating for a free, secular, democratic Iran. He joins me from Berlin for expected reasons, we understand, because we've seen how there's been a crackdown against dissenters in Iran. Arash, thank you for joining us on 5 Live. Tell me about your understanding here. When Donald Trump says complete unconditional surrender of Khamenei, do you think that will happen? Do you think people want that in Iran?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your invitation. Great to be with you and your audiences. It is absolutely true that the Islamic Republic regime is in the verge of collapse, and the most majority of Iranian people inside and outside Iran, worldwide, the Iranian diaspora, they are really fed up with this regime. This regime has showed that they are irreformable. They are not going to change their behavior and their hostility towards the free world. And they have said they will not surrender because their ideology is very destructive and against the whole free world. And they have shown it with supporting terrorism, especially in Middle East and our region. And time has come that finally that the free world accept and start supporting the Iranian people instead of insisting to keep continuing flirting with this regime, appeasing this regime, and also they trying to hold this regime in power, especially, from Russian, Chinese leadership or European leadership who are always keeping the appeasement politic. We really hope that soon this regime collapse because really Iranian people are suffering very much. They have no problem with Israel, and they know our shared enemy is this regime. And especially as this channel is from India, I would
Why do you say that? Why do you say that there is a collective anger possibly against the Khamenei regime? Because Khamenei has been making it even into a religious war between Jews and Muslims and how Iran will rise, it will never surrender. He's definitely making it appear that there's a collective unity in this war against Israel and the USA.
No, it's just a propaganda. First of all, Khamenei cannot even speak English. His Twitter and X accounts and social media accounts are run by so many of his agents, many times out of Iran. They are not operating inside Iran, and they have the freedom to write whatever they want, according, of course, to their politics. But they are just doing propaganda, and unfortunately we see how in the West their supporters organize demonstration, but most of them, they are not even Iranians, and they are all pro-Hamas, Hezbollah, and people who we don't know who they are from, but they pretend to be against the war. With this narrative, they just want to manipulate the words and the narratives to just support this regime, to pretend that they are innocent, they have done nothing. As you saw just today, they hit the civil hospital in Tel Aviv. Is that a regime that's going to be to reform their behaviors?
So, Arash, then my question is, who will reform? Are we looking at the return of the Pahlavi dynasty? He's also been giving interviews. Do you think there has to be proper elections? There has to be a more secular government? What is your view then? What can happen?
Absolutely. The most majority of Iranians, especially the young generation, they love Prince Reza Pahlavi because of his views, because they know him during last 46 years. He himself said, I don't want the power for myself. For me, what is important is that after the fall of the regime, a real election would be established so that Iranian people have the right to elect their own will, to empower their own will for a secular democratic Iran. And whatever they vote, it should be respected. And he really believes in democracy, and people know him. That's why they love him. But most of us, we don't have that much a voice in the media because the supporters of the regime take over all narratives, even the fake opposition. And they always play with words. They have infiltrated into the media, into academic atmosphere. This is the time that finally Iran come out of this prison and start again.
But I don't see the kind of outpouring of the public on the ground against Khamenei. Do you think that's fear? Is that buying time? Or many would say maybe because people support Khamenei regime?
No. At this time, people are still in shock and they are preparing themselves. They are organizing. At this moment, since yesterday, it's 24 hours that the internet completely shut down and we don't have internet. And they know it. That's why they have cut the internet. So many of military people are in contact with Prince Reza Pahlavi to join him and to do the transformation of power with less blood as possible. And also, people have gave so much blood during last years and they have been always ignored by the West, and some fake opposition in the West have changed the narrative, have said, oh, it's just a feminist movement, or it's just a movement for basic rights, but it was always against the regime. And people are smart, everyone have gave blood, everyone are somehow engaged with this regime. That's why they are waiting for the right
then my
moment.
final question would be, do you think this is the way to go? Because the United States of America and Israel coming forth to change regimes, and we've seen how that has gone not very well in the past, whether it's Afghanistan or Iraq or other countries as well. What do you then make of it? Is this the way to have an Iranian regime change, or possibly try to have other ways which are more internal, where people, democracy, secularism can come forth?
Yes, I absolutely understand. But please do not forget that regime change in the past, like in Germany, in Japan, in France, in Chile, and so many other places had very good positive effect as well. And it's not always like that a regime change have a negative effect. This is a narrative that the supporters of the regime play with it. And also, people are ready. Iran is not like other countries. Iran is a nation which has the foundation of thousands of years. What happened in Libya, Syria, Iraq, or elsewhere will not happen in Iran. And there are plans, there are programs for the first 100 years, 100 days of transformation, and after that for the first year, and everything is ready. So we are
you looking
organized.
forward to return to Iran, and when do you think that will happen?
I do, and I hope it will happen soon. I cannot say some details, but it will happen very soon. And we love to join our beloved India again, to have wonderful relation, better than ever, and to flourish together.
Arash, I wish you the very best. India and Iran have always had long historic ties, and of course, there have been different regimes, but India has always been a friend and partner to Iran. Thank you very much.
Just the last 46 years, it was not as it could be, but hopefully soon. Thank you so much.
All right, Arash.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you so much for speaking to India Today on this.